Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. So I'm pretty excited and happy about the tracks I kind of labored through yesterday. They work, and I like the way it sounds. I'm really excited about the ribbon mics. I talk about them a lot, but I really think they work well for recording electric guitar, like with a big cabinet. They're not super detailed, at least these aren't. The better the transformer is, the more winds and all that is, more like get some Lundells or some old RCAs or Altecs. Get these really amazing transformers in there, get them more detailed. These came with, can't remember, just some generic transformers. They weren't even Jensen's or anything like that. But if I put some vintage transformers in there, these would be even better. Or some Lundells. That's my favorite back when I was in hi-fi. But I just like the way it makes electric guitar sound. It's like very euphonic, not super detailed like maybe a condenser would be, and maybe not as forward as like a dynamic mic. But it's just right. You'll see, and you can make your own mind up. I was having trouble with levels, like the drums are really hot, and I couldn't hear when I was tracking this. It was a lot of little hassles, but it worked out okay, and I think I got a good tone to the zoom. And I wanted to play the tracks back, and if you haven't ever watched many of my videos, the main thing I do here is just record my music on a Zoom R24, and if you've gotten a Zoom R24 and you haven't tried the mastering effect yet, you're really missing out, because I don't really like to use the computer much. When I record, my background was always like 2-inch tape, 24 track, 16 track, the board, the whole thing, and there was no computers. I did make a record. I started making records in the 80s, 90s, and then in the early 2000s, that's when you started seeing the digital recording and like all that computer stuff, and it just never appealed to me in the same way that the tape machine so I try to kind of keep that feel going. Or kind of like a cassette 4-track, you can take it back even smaller, and before that, it feels like like it's even smaller than a 4-track. It's kind of an amazing little piece. But anyway, whoops, let me break it with my drumstick. But anyway, I think that the mastering mode is what really makes this machine shine, and it's why I haven't moved on from it, because I don't know of any other like kind of small machine like this. I looked into the Tascam a while back. Some of Zoom's later offerings, like that L live track or whatever, but that seems like it's more for live, and this kind of mastering thing is like the thing that I love the most about the machine, I think. Because I just, the only thing I did with these guitar tracks or the drums I actually took them down a couple of notches, like 3 dB here and there, because they were so loud, which is good, really good tones on the disc. But the guitars, all I had to do with those is I just high passed them at 20 hertz. We don't need to hear anything below that, I don't think, and I just want to keep any of the dust bunnies out. So I just cut it off there, and that's it. I didn't touch anything. I don't do much, post. If you have to do a lot of post, you probably need to re-record, because you're trying to clean up a mess. All right, so let me just show you how to do this mastering thing in case you haven't watched my videos and seen me do it. And if you have, and maybe you haven't, seen the way it works on the actual machine, your view of it, not just mine. Okay, so I'll put the headphones on so I can play it back, and I'll be able to hear it, just like you will. But I'll be able to hear it better if I have these headphones on. I've connected it from the left output, so you can take any kind of TRS, like guitar cable, any kind of cable that can connect to this left output. And then I went on the input there on one of the channels, and I've got the 2 guitar tracks. Won't worry about left and right because it's coming from a mono signal. And then we have our drum tracks, which I've got kind of turned down right now. I've got everything turned down. Okay, so I want to play this back, and I want it to sound better, than it does just raw for the listener, because I want to impress whoever it is and I'm playing it back for, and I want to impress myself. All right, so go to the effect button. We've got it on, and you're going to go to, on the algorithm, you're going to go to mastering, and let's just start with that first, that plus alpha patch. I like it. I'm just familiar with it, and I know what to do with it, so let's try that one. You can use any other ones, and especially when you're recording live, you might want to try those out and just see how they sound in the room before you move on. But I like that plus alpha. input screen master. This is important. That way it'll engage all of the channels, not just 1 or 2, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, on and on until you get to 24. You want to engage all the channels. And then edit. This is where I get into all the fun. So I'm going to hit the edit button, and we're going to look at the crossover and just leave it at 50, high and low 50 hertz. But then look at our sense high. Let's go to 5 on that. And let's leave our mid on 5, and I'm going to go, usually the lows will be at 10. Like when you first get here, it'll be at 10. I always bring it to 5, and maybe even lower. On the mix 202, it says, it'll say high, mid, low, and I usually put 202, but let's just do 5 on that too. 5. And you can always adjust on the fly as well if it's sounding too something. Okay, then I'm going to go to the normalizer. I'll usually take the gain off, 0. The 3-band EQ, let's just try 5 all around. I mean, this is all adjustable, but I find that it kind of works. The 5 thing works. If you don't know what to do, just do all 5s and then go from there. You might want to remove some bass or some mid or some high or whatever, but that's where I usually start with this patch. Okay, and I took the ZNR off. The next step is that is important, is to pull down your master so that you don't get a big explosion of noise, because it's going to be a lot louder than it was without the mastering in place. Okay, so let's just see what happens here. It might take me a minute to get everything correct, but let's just see how it sounds, and then you'll be able to see what the guitars are like and what the recording's like so far. 3. Let's go back. I got the guitars up. I was just getting those drums sort of dialed in. 2, 3. okay about it. It's got a good, just feels raw and real and like on it, you know, like, yeah. And the drums are really just killing me. I just want to really massage this one along and not goof it up, you know, make sure I'm doing everything correctly to just get the most out of it. Okay, so that mastering thing, even just playing back your tracks, like I said, is the way to go. Because it just sounds so much better. There's just so much more ass, you know, to the bass, and just everything is just blowing up more. You get that hi-fi feel, you know, as opposed to that sort of just dry, you know, tracks playing back. All right, so hopefully you had a good weekend, and your recording plans are going well, your projects are going well, your songs are coming out the way you envision them, and you're getting better. That's the whole thing. It's like you don't have to worry about being as good as, you know, person A or person B. You just continue to be as good as you can be by continuing to work hard and improve. Like, I can just tell like how much better I'm getting at everything. Still not where I want to be, but that's the whole point, you know. It's like the journey. All right, thank you very much for watching, for supporting. Love everyone that does that. I really appreciate it. And if there's any way I can help you guys, reach out. Next time.